Imagine standing on a beach with nowhere left to run. Behind you, the most powerful army in the world. In front of you, an ocean. That is exactly where the people of Israel found themselves. And what happened next is one of the greatest moments in the entire Bible. After 400 years in Egypt, the Israelites were finally free. Pharaoh had let God's people go, and they marched out of the land of their slavery, hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children. And they did not travel alone. The Lord went ahead of them. By day, he led them in a pillar of cloud to guide their way, and by night, a pillar of fire to give them light. The pillar never left its place in front of the people. At the Lord's command, Israel camped beside the sea, near a place called Pi-hahiroth. The water stretched out before them, wide and deep. But back in Egypt, something was changing. When Pharaoh was told that the people had fled, his heart turned hard once again. He and his officials looked at each other and said, "What have we done? We have let Israel go and lost their service forever." So Pharaoh made ready his chariot and took his army with him, 600 of his best chariots and all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over every one of them. And they thundered across the desert after the people of Israel. As the Israelites looked up, they saw the Egyptians marching after them, dust rising, chariots gleaming, and great fear filled their hearts. They cried out to the Lord, and they turned on Moses. "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us out here to die in the wilderness? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die out here." Trapped. The sea in front of them, the army behind them, no way out. But Moses stood before the people, and he did not panic. Listen to what he told them. "Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to go forward. Lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, that the people of Israel may go through the sea on dry ground." And then something remarkable happened. The pillar of cloud moved. It swept from the front of Israel's camp all the way to the back, and stood between the Israelites and the Egyptians. All night long, the cloud kept the two camps apart, darkness on one side, light on the other. The army could not touch them. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. All night the wind blew and the waters began to divide. The sea split in two. Walls of water rose up on the right and on the left, and between them, a path of dry ground, running all the way to the other side. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, fathers and mothers, children and grandparents, flocks and herds. They walked between towering walls of water held back by the hand of God. Can you imagine what that walk was like? The sound of the sea all around you, and a dry path under your feet. But the Egyptians would not stop. Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen chased them, straight into the middle of the sea. And in the morning watch, the Lord looked down on the Egyptian army through the pillar of fire and cloud and threw them into a panic. Their chariot wheels stuck and swerved so that they could barely drive. The Egyptians cried out, "Let us flee from Israel, for the Lord fights for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea once more." Moses stretched out his hand, and as morning appeared, the sea returned. The walls of water came crashing down, covering the chariots, the horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed Israel into the sea. Not one of them remained. But Israel, every last one of them, stood safe on the other side. The Lord had saved his people from the hand of the Egyptians, just as he promised. And when Israel saw the great power the Lord had shown, The people feared the Lord, and they believed in him and in his servant Moses. Remember what Moses said when there was no way out. Fear not, stand firm. The Lord will fight for you. Sometimes the path forward doesn't appear until you take a stand right where you are. God made a way through the sea, and he can make a way for you. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. A new page of the notebook turns every week.